So I'm going to show you a one shot and playing different characters.
Hi, my name is Maya Garfield, and I will be performing the book I Need My Monster by Amanda Knoll. Tonight, when I looked under the bed for my monster, I found this note instead. Gone fishing. Back in a week. Gabe. What was I going to do? I needed a monster under my bed. How else was I supposed to get to sleep if my monster was gone? I tried to sleep, but it wasn't the same without Gabe. I missed his ragged breathing, his nose whistling, the scrambling of his uncut claws. How would I ever get to sleep without Gabe's familiar sounds and scary noises? It was no use. Gabe would be gone for a week, and I just had to have a monster. I climbed out of bed quietly so my parents wouldn't hear me. Grown-ups have some strange ideas about monsters. I knocked on the floorboards, then scrambled back into bed. I waited nervously. Would a new monster appear? What would he look like? Would his snoring be as cheerful as Gabe's? I heard some creaking under my bed. I knew the substitute monster had arrived.
Good evening. My name is Herbert, and I will be your monster for tonight.
Herbert? What kind of name is that for a monster? You don't sound very scary. Have you ever scared a kid before?
Well, no, but I have read all the books on the subject.
Do you have long teeth and scratchy claws?
No, but I do have an overbite, and I'm a mouth breather. Listen.
Listen, Herbert, I just don't think it's gonna work. It's nothing personal, but I just really need a monster who's scary.
Piggy, as you wish. I'll go.
There was some scratching, and then Herbert was gone. I heard some scratching that warned me that the second monster had appeared. Good evening. My name is Ralph, and from what I understand, you need a monster with claws. If you would please lean over, I will hold out my hand for inspection. I crouched over the edge of the bed, hoping to see a horrible, shaggy arm with ragged nails. Instead, I was surprised to see sleeky, brushed fur with smooth, shiny claws. Excuse me, I don't mean to be rude, but is that nail polish on your claws? Yes, it is. I always believe professional monsters should be well groomed. I could tell this wasn't going to work either. I'm sorry to disappoint you, Ralph, but I need a monster with scary claws, like Gabe's. I heard more scratching, and I knew Ralph was gone. I peeked through my covers at the slimy tail sitting in front of me. That's when I noticed the bow. Are you a girl monster? Of course I am. I'm Cynthia. Do you have a problem with that? Yeah, I do. I need a boy monster. Well, aren't you a picky one? And then she was gone. Was I being too picky? No. I know that I needed a boy monster. He needed to be well-clawed and menacing. The whole point of a monster, after all, was to keep me in bed imagining all the scary stuff that could happen if I got out. Then I heard a shuffling noise and some scratching. And then I knew the fourth monster had appeared under my bed.
Hey, the name's Mac.
One look at his claws, and I knew Mac was a big, scruffy boy monster. Maybe this one would work out. Those are some excellent claws. But do you have a big, long tail?
My tail is stumpy, but I do have a long tongue.
Why would I be afraid of a long tongue?
Oh, you never know. I might lick ya.
Well, you're not even trying to work with me.
I don't know, kid. You shouldn't send me away. You know, kids who eject 5 monsters in one night.
I did not reject 5 monsters tonight. My usual monster went out fishing.
Maybe you just left you because you're so picky. Fine, I'm out of here. But I wouldn't expect another monster tonight.
However was I going to get to sleep without my monster? I was surprised to hear more creaking under the bed. Loud creaking with scratching. I thought no more monsters were going to appear tonight.
Sorry I'm late, kid. I thought I'd enjoy fishing. I didn't. Those fish scare too easily. No challenge at all. You, however, are a challenge. You keep me on my toes. Ah, toes. A delicious snack. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to start the evening off with an ominous puddle of drool. If you could please stick out your foot, I'd like to nibble on your pinky.
It was Gabe. I peeked over the edge of the bed. Green ooze spread from underneath. Then the bed trembled as Gabe unfurled his tail. He was daring me to guess where he might popped up. When my blanket started to slip off the bed, I knew Gabe was ready to eat. I yanked my blanket back up and scrunched my feet so Gabe couldn't get them. No toast tonight. Gabe was back. The ooze was perfect. Everything was back to normal. I shivered again. I'd be back to sleep in no time.
So that student, it was very simplistic, but it got the point across, and I really enjoyed how her character work. It was just maybe one prop, one costume piece that deciphered each character, but obviously each character was very distinguished with voice, with movement as well. So the next one I'm going to show you, this student chose to simply do voiceover work, and just to show a picture of the book, or pictures of the book as she was reading it. And like I tell my students, this is fine for this project.
Hi, I'm Siha Sharma and I'll be performing Pinkalicious Pinky Promise by Victoria Kim.
Hi, I'm Pinkalicious. One day, I was making a picture for my teacher, Mr. Pushkin, but I ran out of my favorite color. I asked my friend Allison if I could borrow her paints.
Just don't use up all the pink.
She said, I won't. I promise. I worked very hard on the picture. I drew a muffin, and it looked good. I gave the picture to Mr. Pushkin.
What a terrific painting. It's so pink,
he said. You mean it's pinkerific, I said. Allison was coming over to get her paint set. Some of the colors were empty. Uh-oh, what was I going to do? I'm sorry, Allison. By mistake, I ended up using all the pink.
Allison frowned. You also used up all the red and the white.
Well, red and white make pink, so really, if you think about it, it's all just pink, I said. But Allison was angry.
You said you wouldn't use up all the pink paint. You promised, Pinkalicious.
I'm really sorry, Allison. I said it again, but Allison took her paint set and just walked away. Allison did not want to sit with me at lunch, so I sat alone. I ate my jelly sandwich, but I found out that jelly does not taste pinka yummy if you're eating it all by yourself. Suddenly, I thought of something. So, I went back to the classroom to make Allison an apology card. This card is very blue, I said to Allison. There were no other colors. I used up almost everybody's pink.
Thanks for the card, Allison said.
It's not just beautiful, it's beautiful, I said. Allison, can we still be friends? I asked.
Of course we're friends, Pinkalicious, Allison said. I'm sorry I got angry about the paint. I won't get so mad next time.
I was so happy. So I asked Allison if we could play together this weekend, and she said yes. When Allison came over to play, I had a surprise for her. I gave Allison a new tube of pink, red, and white paint.
It's not even my birthday, said Allison.
And that's not all. Guess what?
What?
Mom took us to get ice cream. We shared a pink peppermint ice cream sundae with raspberry swirl syrup. The sundae also had 2 cherries on top, so we could each have our own, because some things are just too hard to share. Allison suddenly said,
Let's always be friends.
Yes, that would be fantastic, I said. Let's make it a pinky promise, we said at the same time. Because pinky promises last forever.
So obviously the student just did the voiceover work, but it was still entertaining, and I loved how she used every picture from the story. So, this is always an option because the kids do enjoy seeing videos like this as well. And so the last one I'm going to show you, this student pretty much did all the elements in her story. And so I wanted to show this to you as well. This is one of my favorite ones. It's the Lorax. It's also one of my favorite stories. So I wanted to share this with you as kind of when you combine all of the elements of storytelling, from costuming to voiceover work, to using props, to sound effects, to using the pictures from the story, this is what the end product will be.
Hello, my name is Kaden Alvarez, and today I'll be telling the story of The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. Hope you enjoy. At the far end of town where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing, excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. What was the Lorax, and why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere from the far end of town where the grickle grass grows? The old Onceler still lives there. Ask him. He knows. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. But on special dank midnights he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks.
Now I'll tell you,
He says, with his teeth sounding gray,
how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the swummy swans rang out in space. One morning I came to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, those truffula trees. All my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I'd built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. And then with great skillful skill and great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a thneed. The instant I'd finished, I heard a gazump. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I just cut. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy.
Mister, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, from the top of my lungs.
He was very upset as he shouted and huffed.
What's that thing you've made out of my truffula tuft?
Look, Lorax, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed, and a thneed's a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt. It's a scarf, it's a rug, it's a hat. But it has other uses, yes, far beyond that.
Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that fool thneed.
I laughed at the Lorax. You poor silly guy. You can never tell what some people will buy.
I repeat, I'm the Lorax. I speak for the trees.
I'm busy, I told him. Be quiet if you please. I walked across the room, and in no time at all, I built a small radio phone, and I put in a quick call. And I said, listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Then, oh baby, how my business did grow. We were selling Sneed 4 times faster than before. And that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week, he knocked on my office door.
Wentzler!
He cried with a crofulous croak.
Wentzler, you're making such smogulous smoke. My poor swummy swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in his throat. And so, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know.
And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, and now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap and say bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering, turning more Truffula trees into needs, which everyone needs.
And at that very moment, they heard a loud whack. From out in the field came this sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then they watched the tree fall. The very last Truffula tree of them all.
No more trees, no more Thneeds, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts, everyone, all waved me goodbye. All that was left beneath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad backward glance, as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget that grim look on his face as he hoisted himself and took leave of this place, through a hole in the smog, barely leaving a trace. All that the Lorax left behind in this mess was a small pile of rocks with one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long ago, but each day since that day, through the years all my buildings have fallen apart, I've thought about that with all of my heart. But now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So, catch. It's a Truffula seed. It's the last one of all. Plant a new Truffula, treat it with care. Feed it fresh water and give it clean air. Grow forests, protect it from axes that hack. Then maybe the Lorax and all his friends will come back.
So again, I really enjoyed how that student used all different forms of AV and media to really create the story of the Lorax. I liked how she used the book to break up the different scenes and kind of set the scene for what was going to come next. So I just wanted to show you again kind of what we send to the schools. And this is just an easy way for them to click on different stories that they may want to use. And you can also use Flipgrid to send that out. I put this on my Facebook page, and because I have a lot of teachers, since I'm from Tennessee, a lot of teachers from all over the country that were able to use this. So this is just a great way that students can, high school students can really help with read out loud and use it for their community service project. So if you have any questions, or if you want any further examples or links, please feel free to reach out and email me at stoffelteach@ gmail.com, and I'll be happy to answer any of the questions that you may have. Hope you guys have a great rest of your school year, and I'll see you on the next webinar.